Hey, what's up, YouTube? I'm gonna make a short video. It's really a guide and how to buy cars, what to look for, how to buy a good used car, I should say, what to look for, and mistakes that you should avoid. I'm gonna try to go into as much detail as I possibly can. But before I get into the video, I'm going to ask you to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel for those who have not subscribed. If you're new to the channel, I sincerely welcome you to the channel. I'm happy to have you. Please check back often. To all of my subscribers that are actually coming back to watch the videos after you've gotten your driver's license, I thank you very much. I'm sincerely grateful for you for actually supporting the channel. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is they want a much newer car than their budget would allow. In other words, yeah, like I was saying, the biggest mistake that people make as it relates to cars and what they look for when they're buying a car is they want a much newer car than their budget would allow. In other words, you have a $5,000 budget to buy a good used car, but you're looking for a 2017 with leather interior and sunroof and all of that stuff. Now that is quite unrealistic, right? If you're trying to buy a decent used car and you have $5,000, what you're supposed to be doing, really, if you're being sensible, is looking for an older car. You want an older car with mileage that actually match the year of the car. What do I mean by that? The average car does between 10 and 12,000 miles per year. That is what the average car is supposed to do. Anything over that would be considered high, which would mean that the car would have to be lower in price. So if you're buying a car that is 3 years old, maximum miles on it for it to be considered a low mileage or average mileage car would be 36,000 miles on a 3-year-old car. So if you're buying a 3-year-old car with 50,000 miles, then the mileage is actually quite high. So if you're going down the road now, say you have a $4,000 or $5,000 to buy a car, you can buy a car with 150,000 miles on it as long as the mileage add up to the amount of years that the car is. If the car is 5 years old, the mileage should add up to 5 years. Again, that is 10 to 12,000 miles per year. So if you actually look for a car that falls within the mileage range of 10 to 12,000 miles per year, you will have a much better car for your money than running out and buying a brand new car with a fairly new car for, you know, almost no money. Because again, if you have a 2017 car and you're selling it that cheap, there's usually a reason you're selling it that cheap. If the car is no good, then you're gonna be trying to get rid of it. So, you know, if the car, they say if it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. So if the car is cheap, there's a good reason why it's cheap. So just be realistic in what you're looking for when you're buying a car. Another good thing that you should look for is try to buy from private owners over dealers. Dealers buy cars cheap so they can sell it and make a profit. Large dealers make a bigger profit. Small dealers are still making a profit. So they buy it cheap so they can turn around and sell it and make a profit. So buy from private owners. A lot of private owners, instead of trading in their cars, they will go to the dealer. You know, when they go to the dealer will offer them, say, a couple of $100 for the car. Then they'd rather go and sell it on Craigslist or OfferUp or whatever. So it's better to buy from a private owner. And again, buy from a private owner that have maintenance record. That is the best car to buy. You want to buy a car from a guy that has meticulous maintenance record. You know, that keeps up with every oil change. They have documentation of every oil change, every repair that they made on the car. They have it documented. They have receipts for every major repair, even small repair, tire changes, alignments, whatever they get done to the car, they have documents that proves it. Those are the best cars to buy. I'm not even suggesting that you can't buy a car that does not have meticulous record, but me personally, when I'm looking for a car, I try to find people that have maintenance record, because usually a guy that takes care of his cars and keep the records is a good indicator that you're getting a good used car. You know what I mean? If the guy takes care of his car and take the time to keep all the receipts and keep proper documentation, then that person is probably a person that really takes good care of the car. If you find a car that the mileage is very high and the driver's seat is worn out, that's another thing you look for. If the seat is completely worn out, then, you know, and the mileage is low, you know they've probably turned back on the mileage. So you got to look at the car, you know, and make sure the condition of the car matches the miles. If the miles is not so high, but the car is all raggedy, you know, there's a good chance they've turned it back. So look at that. Again, use common sense. Bring a mechanic with you when you're going to check the car. You know, make sure everything is in proper working order. Check the oil, check the transmission fluid, and make sure you have someone that is capable, that is qualified to give you a go-ahead on the car. Right? So to wrap it up, don't just buy the cheapest, newest car that you can find, because that is what everyone's looking for. A fairly new car that is cheap. And again, if it sounds too good to be true, it generally is. Buy a car that the mileage match the year of the car. The condition, the cosmetics on cars, for me personally, if it looks good, that's great, but that's not my first priority, because you can always go and get a reasonably priced paint job. You know, I can fix up the exterior of the car to look how I want it. So the drivetrain is more important. I want to make sure I have a good transmission, good engine in the car. That is why I suggest that you bring a good mechanic with you to make sure that the car is in good working order. All right, those are my tips on how to buy a car. So follow those tips and you will have a much better time finding a reasonably priced, reliable car. And I won't suggest what car to buy. I mean, you buy the cars that you like, but personally I like Japanese cars. They're more reliable. If you're looking for an economical car that is reliable, Japanese cars are generally better. You know, my personal cars are German, but you know, those are just better handling cars and they're more expensive. So if you're looking for something economical that is reliable and will probably give you good service, look at the Japanese cars. Hondas, Toyotas, Nissans, etc. Alright? Then I will see you on the next video.